Now, we don't have a round table here, but we've got a round fire pit, and we're all equal, all right? So this is a discussion about the game plan for today. Our number one objective is to prove forever, beyond a reasonable doubt, that the Spanish were up here and they were mining, and it was the most valuable mine in the North American continent, all right? 78%, as I understand it, of all the gold that came out of North America by the Spanish came out of Utah. And I don't see any other mines in Utah that the Spanish mine that would justify that kind of volume except this one. And this is the one they announced through the Jesuit priests in El Paso before 1660, before they got wiped out, as the one. And they left a few maps around, okay? So we've got a local government here and we've got a federal government here that both deny there was ever any Spanish in the Uintas, and there's no gold in the Uintas. And I'm gonna pull a Trump on them. I'm gonna say that's fake news, all right? And we're gonna prove it today. And then if they keep it up, then we'll know who's the liars.
There we go.
Does that sound like a good objective?
Sounds good.
That's the most important thing. Once there's enough attention with this thing that way, then, and it's got its true credible facts, then I think we're going to have a lot of people that are going to want to spend more time up here.
So how, Gary, are you going to prove that this is a Spanish mine, it's a rich Spanish mine and all that? What's your plan of attack? What are you going to do?
Well, I can't go down to the 450 feet where the gold started that Garcia in the waybill said it's where he started to find it, and he didn't know it was an epithermal vent. But if you go online and say low sulfidation epithermal vent, it'll describe exactly what this place is up here. It's got the donut, it's got the history about where you got to go for the gold, and there's nothing up on top. So all these people that have said, oh, there's no gold in here, they're blind. They just don't read history. And there's several people that all the way through to Garcia that documented that it's here. There's a Kimball report, which was a brigadier general for the Utah militia that captured a slaver that was one of the miners that mined up here in 1846, and he gave him a detailed report of where he had to go, why they walled up all of the active mines that were in this area, which is why nobody's found any. And he actually had a map from the Jesuit priests in El Paso, came up here, and it's all reported in the 1898 Salt Lake Deseret News, and anybody can read it. So if you want documentation of people that are reputable, hell, how can you get better than a brigadier general in the Utah militia and a slaver that didn't have any reason to lie because he was already captured? And I guess he was trying to give him information. He even gave him a nugget, all right? So you don't have to believe the Forest Service. You don't have to believe all of the fake news that's gone on for several centuries, actually, or more than a century. You can read it because now we've got a communication revolution, and so you can read it for yourself and then decide what you want to believe. Okay? So today, go ahead. So today we're going to go show you a real Spanish Arista, and Terry's going to film it. Then we're going to go down the southeast trail to where the real Josephine is, where there's supposed to be over $1 billion of bar gold, 65,000 pounds. Then we're going to go north to a real Spanish mine where we've actually got the cap on a depression where you can actually see a man-made chiseled cap on the depression on the pit, which is their modus operandum, is how they mine, okay? And so we're going to see that, we're going to film that, we're going to come back, we're going to see the bear hole, which is what it was called, because a guy got chased out of it. Probably the bear didn't like him. And we're going to show exactly where we're going to dig out an old pre-Columbian cave that probably the first people that were mining it were the Aztecs, 10,000 years ago. All of their high-end gold didn't come from Mexico or anywhere near, and the Spanish followed them after Montezuma right up to Salt Lake City. Okay, and the only place they could get that kind of high quality gold, which is here, which is free gold, which was described in the 1898 articles by the guy that had it assayed down there by reputable assay companies. We're going to be able to prove that that's the only way they could have gotten that kind of gold. And if the Spanish followed them up here, and there's a map and there's a documentation in the travel channel that proves it, that anybody can go to, a guy named Wolper Scott, I think was his first name, then we've got a connection for 10,000 years. And then when Bonneville Lake went down, they had to go to Mexico because this was no longer a swamp with white birds. And that's what their homeland was called, was white land, which meant the seagulls that are still here are the blue herons that would be here in a marshland.
And the salt. And the salt.
No, the salt wasn't there because it hadn't receded that much. Yeah. So that's what we're going to do today, guys. So we're going to ask Terry, since the meeting's over. Well, no, the meeting isn't over. I got to have comments. My God, I'm just the narrator here. Anybody got any questions?
I'll hold off, Max. I'll wait till tomorrow then.
Well,
I
they
wanna
really
see
wouldn't
this
know
stuff.
the technology we know now, how to find those thermal vents.
Hey, neither, right, that's a good point, because neither did the 1898 mining experts know anything about a low sulfidation epithermal vent, and this one was a catastrophic event. That asteroidal ice, when the Uintas were pushed up like this, formed a crack, which is the Holt Canyon Fault. We're going to see that. You're going to see that, obviously. That it let it warm up enough to hit that ice. That ice hit 6,000 degree caldera, and it went off like 100 H-bombs all at once. And you're going to see the donut where it sunk in. That's part of Maxwell Lake. So the geology is correct. The documentation is correct. We're going to drive up to the embarkation point, okay, which is going to be what was called the bear hole and the cave. We'll start with that because that's still a work in progress. We're going to dig it out, okay? And so that's going to take a while. This is an entire summertime until the snow won't let us get up here expedition. We're going to have people up here with high-end electronic equipment canvassing the entire 15 square mile area that was reported to where the mines were. So if it's here, which I know it is, you'll know it too, we're going to discover as much as we can. We might have, I've discovered old ore trails that are obvious from all the mines right to the Aristas and right to the smelter, or right to the water where they had to pan it after they crushed it. I've got that all in GPSs.
Okay, that's a wrap. Let's go.
Let's go get it.
Gary, tell me where we're at and where we're headed.
This is what's called the infamous bear hole and the cave. We're going to go down here. We're going to excavate this.
So, and those that don't know, is there used to be a cave, a tunnel, but the Forest Service backfilled it in. They covered over a cliff, backfilled it in, and Gary's got the rights to dig it back open. So that's what we're going to go check out right now.
They made a mistake. They covered over the cave, and I got them. And so, but they're nice people, and they treated me right. And we have a previous thing that explained all that. Yeah.
Okay.
So we're on our way to do what we said down there at our round fire pit.
Okay, let's hit it.
So we're going to do it. So Terry's been nice enough to follow us around and document it all so we can prove there is gold in the Uintas and the Spanish were here.
Okay, let's go get it.
Looks like a thing like that. Let's go.
This mine, one was a natural cave, the other one's a pre-Columbian thing that might have been mined by the Aztecs before the Spanish.
Okay, so what do you got going on here, Gary?
We've been digging this out for a few years, and we've got a picture of it that the Forest Service did just before they covered it over. And it shows that, and it shows it down with these bolts, because the previous claim owner had put a wire mesh in here because one of his people got both of his femurs broke. So their insurance or whatever told them, hey, you're going to still try to make your tunnel over there to get the gold. You're going to have to put that on. So they did. And so these are the bolt holes right here that the Forest Service took the mesh out but couldn't get those out. So they left them in. So we've got identification markers to exactly where the cave is, which is right under here. We're within about 4 or 5 feet of being to it on that one. And then right over here, see that rock over there, the big flat one?
Yeah.
Right below that is where the prehistoric cave is that Bird mentioned that he actually took the rocks out of and went down and got his ore assayed in Salt Lake to $5,000 a ton, and that was when gold was $20.67. So,
But he went down to the 400 or 600 foot level?
no, he only got to the 300.
300 foot level.
Debris field, and a previous mucker from one of the other claim holders, he got down to that debris field. So we know he didn't get over that. If he'd gone down where General Kimball said the slavers said it was at 600 feet, he'd have got
We got some shovels hidden
almost
here.
pure gold, which is probably where Caleb and Tom Rhodes had to
Those
go.
two trees over there have
And
a
that's
couple of
probably
pits.
the one that they got all the gold out of. More than likely, it was the only one that they could
Broke
open.
that open. It was that
You know, so
we found all kinds of
this is probably the one that Wakar showed him about. And Caleb said, you don't mine it, you just pick it off the floor. And Tom said,
Check.
if you find it, bring 800 feet of rope.
Yesterday.
So it's a 30-degree angle. And if you figure the difference in the triangle, that's about what you need to get down there to pick it up off the floor. So those things kind of tie in. And that's the key to it right there. And it didn't get covered. You notice all this over here was where the cat covered it all over.
Uh-huh.
They forgot the important thing.
Uh-huh.
And so all we got to do is dig down underneath that brush. So we know that's where the cave is. And that's where it's supposed to be, which is 30 feet from this one, going south. And that's... so we're going to open that one too.
Cool.
And that's a pick and shovel, so we don't need to tell the Forest Service. No, we better cancel it out.
Okay, I'm canceling that out.
You can't cancel it out?
I am going to cancel it out.
Oh, okay.
Okay, that's
Down there where that trail goes right there, you can see it. See in front of the tree here how it cuts up and goes out that way? That goes right to that prayer tree, which is very old. In the Spanish, before they went into mine, it was the law.
What about the prayer tree up there?
The prayer tree was right down.
Because there's another one up there.
Is there really?
Yeah,
Well, maybe the Pope made him pray twice.
he must have. Once going in and
dangerous.
once coming out.
Yeah, so they could keep him alive, so they didn't have to go get more from Spain. They probably made him pay twice.
There you go.
So they figured when they went in, they were covered. You know, but only 7 of them got out of here out of 40. So he probably didn't pray hard enough. This is on the way to the Arista, all right, which is between the Arista and the smelter over there. So the Indians, the Utes, to guard it, would put a teepee right up here. And so they'd kill anybody that came through here with ore, all right? And so they'd have a place where they had their best warriors, probably, right here. So we're going to go over here and you tell me what you think this is.
I mean, there's some cool natural stuff. Yeah, we get some natural stuff. There was found that one yesterday that looked like it had the bead and 2 bars and all that. A big rock? Yeah, a little rock. It looked like a pointer. Looks like it was one of the
Oh man, look at that. It's all a big outcropping.
Templar letters or whatever.
There's the fire pit and the thing. Probably guarded it year round. And there's the teepee right around. That's my opinion. This wasn't here. This isn't natural. It didn't just come down and become level and oval like this on its own.
100% you're right. This is a place you'd like to detect.
Yeah.
This is the Arista here?
Yeah.
No, this is where...
It's used to guard the mine.
Oh.
Because they come up there.
Oil on one rock
So
though.
they could kill anybody that they found Spanish coming back and forth. They had their best warriors right here.
Well, I ought to be running my metal detector. Hardy, would you
Whoa,
mind
man.
walking with
What's that
this?
all about?
I'm going to get my metal detector out. Might as well, I'm walking this way.
go see this fucker. Look at these fossils. Rock here. And how high we are. That's the thing that's amazing. More coral.
This is a game trail now, but once it was an old Spanish trail from the Josephine up to the Arista. Now we're going to go to the Arista. This is the arrastre, all right? That was a thing they used to crush the ore. And so they made a big round circle level, and then they put a post here and a post here. That's why it's oval, it's not round. And then they put a post in the middle, and then they put a post in like this, and they had a big rock on this side, and they had a slab or a burrow on this side. And then they lined it all around so the ore wouldn't go out into the ground. And so they ran around like this and crushed all the ore. And this is the perfect size for a major arrastre. Okay.
Yeah, this is really an arrastre, man. This is a huge, a huge, bigger one than I've ever seen. That's a huge one.
A lot of ore and it's huge. So
We could have two of them going.
it's a declaration of the size of this mining operation. It's supposed to have up to 500 people at one time in here back in the 1700s. Okay. I want to show you. Okay. And here's the important thing. Is the Holt Canyon Fault comes from just east of Glory Hole. It goes straight here. It goes right through this thing. Goes right over here. All right. It splits and goes west. Nothing here, and then it goes out that way for about another quarter of a mile. And you can go online and type in Holt Canyon Fault. They'll show you a picture of it in the geological survey thing, and this is right where it split.
Huh.
Okay, so this would be the major place where you'd have more mineralization than any place. You'd have 1, 2, 3, 4 places that you could tunnel down to get gold at 450 feet or longer. So it's a major thing. Okay. Okay, and then there's one more thing up here you want to see. This is obviously a man-made thing. It's right above the Arista. It's within musket shot of the Arista, all right? So you had security here. If any of the slaves that were turning the thing around to crush the ore tried to take off, you could knock them out, okay? So this is where the Spanish lived, probably, a guard station, and that's what they could watch. Okay? Good. That's good.
Be here or what?
Okay, we'll go down the hill now.
I was like,
Well, maybe not up this far. Oh, no.
They got down to this, I'm sure they'd find some real good stuff. So they thought this is probably one of their mines.
So have you done a calculations from the peak for the waybill, the Veras, the direction and all that?
Yes.
Does this add up to it or not?
It's got to be down.
It's got to be down farther.
And it wasn't. And not only that, but it's almost exactly 1,600 Veras down.
Ah, okay.
When you figure out that they had to measure it from the surface,
Yep.
so that means that the peak was up here. They had to make a curve to follow the trail, and then come right down to it. It'd be almost exactly where. It couldn't be over there. It has to be here. Because over there it's only about 1,200 at the other mine. So there's no way that could be the Josephine that had the bars there. This is one of the trails. There's several of them on this face that go over to where the northern gold fields were. All right. You can see this one going this way. There's another one up there. There's another one up above that. And then on top, there's a pile of rubble, and on the other side of it is a big excavation. There's no doubt about it. And this has got a peak on it. When you go over here by the glory hole, you can see the peak up here where they build it up. Okay. No deer made this trail.
Pretty wide trail.
And most of the game animals wouldn't even use it. They'd go down there, see where it was easier for them. This wagon trail goes right to the Josephine, all right? And it goes right up to the Arista. And so you can imagine this was a huge trail for hauling ore over here at the northern gold fields to bring it over here. And so the Forest Service didn't make this road. Okay, this was made maybe 10,000 years ago, at least 300 years ago with the Spanish. And you can just imagine those ore hauling wagons coming here, going right to where they could crush it and then go pan it, all right? And this is one of them. There's one up here, same thing. There's one up there, the same thing. And then up on that peak right there, there's another mine. And you can see the actual place where they put all the tailings and everything. See these trees that go up there and go to another trail up there? That's where the donkeys would have to go up this way to get the ore up there, and then they had to cross. They had to kind of cross it, and then they had to go back up to get to where it was there. So they'd be coming back down here and down here. It's too steep over there, so they do that, or it'd be from these mines over here. But that's the reason those trees are there, where along the trail, is because that's where the donkey dung was the best. So you had fertilizer. The trees grow better in fertilizer. And so if you follow the tree lines, you're going to find the trails, and at the end of the tree lines, you're going to find the mines. Okay? That's it.
I don't know.
Okay, you guys, don't give anybody your names, because if you know where all the gold is, somebody's going to kill you to find it.
People's already trying to kill me and they haven't made it.
Are they?
But I'm Juan Valdez today.
You got to hear this if you
Which
want to
one?
know where it all is. Okay? Okay, from here, there's a trail that goes right through here that actually goes right over to the place where we're going to take the cap off. And that same trail goes over the ridge and goes up there, and we're going to go back where I found some wagon parts. It's going to go right to back to the smelter, which was the bear hole. Okay?
Where's the Josephine from here?
What?
Josephine?
No, Josephine was back up there.
We went there?
Yeah.
You went there and didn't even know it.
Where the hell
He didn't want you to know.
was the? Oh, you didn't tell us though.
Right.
I didn't tell you where
Yeah.
it was.
Oh.
Because
can't be
if somebody
filmed.
recognizes you, and you knew where the Josephine was, and you were
do the blood
poor
test
and destitute and criminal, what would you do?
Shut off the camera so we could go see it.
Yeah, but then you're going to tell somebody,
Oh hell no!
and they're going to say, "Oh,"
Nobody but
and then
us.
they're going to tell somebody else, and then
Nobody
pretty
but us
soon you're
treasure
dead.
seekers.
Yeah, I don't want to take the chance on the $1 billion with it. Okay, here's another hint about mineralization. See all those yellow flowers? They only grow where the ground's been disturbed, because it's a kind of mineralization that's created with these yellow flowers. So you know that there's probably something man-made in this area when you see this kind of stuff. There's yellow flowers right here. You don't see them all over, see, but there's a whole bunch of them in here. We know it was a major activity area, so this would be consistent with what we know is up there. Okay. It's a major trail. You can't miss it. It cuts like that, goes right there, and goes right to here. So you know they hauled it, and we're going to go back on that trail. You also got a lot of geological stuff going, like there was some major thing, a fracture or something, as to where they, if you look at this is where you're going to look for a way to get into where it goes, all right? You still got the yellow flowers, see? That's one of the mines, probably, right there.
been in here?
What? It's probably covered over. That's one of the mines probably. It's the major one that's got the cap on it up here. How far? Wow.
Shovel right here.
Huh?
Somebody's been digging. There's a shovel and a bucket in there.
There's a bucket. Somebody has dug. There's a full-on trench.
That's my shovel.
A red shovel?
I left it here about 3 or 4 years ago. Yeah.
There's one under there and a white bucket under there.
Okay, well, I'll be damned. It's still here. Nobody sold it.
Right here.
There's an opening down here.
Yeah.
Shut up. Is there a cap up there, too?
Oh, no.
Yeah. No, you didn't open this one. Somebody excavated it.
When we were here, it was just that depression. We took that cap out over there. You got to move out of the way, guys.
Which rock?
That cap right over there. See that round cap over there?
Yeah.
It was right here, and it was about 2 feet under. And I dug it out, took that cap off, and left it open for nature to do its thing. And now we've got an open mine. So that's one we've got to start going down. This would be a major mine because it was covered over. And there's the round cap. Oh, that's the cap right over. We put back up. You can still see my shovel over here and everything.
Is this, you talking about this here?
What?
The cap is this here?
No, that's about 5 ton. I can lift that. I don't think I'm Superman. Oh, I shouldn't have said that. No, there's the cap right there. No, yeah, that one right there. That's the one I threw it right over there.
You mind if I hop down and check it out?
No, because it might be a shaft. This might
It
be
is.
down
I can see it
100
in there.
What?
It is. I can see it.
No, don't go down in it.
I'm just gonna have trouble
It might
getting
cave in on you and you'll go down about 100 feet and die. You'll be down there with all the slaves.
I got a safety belt with a.
It looks like a horizontal
gonna-
shaft. There's a spot I can stand right here and just
pretty
come
much-
down.
No, don't go down it. It's too dangerous. We got to go down with a robot and see exactly what it's like. See, safety first, young guy. You go down there, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to slap your wrist with a wet noodle.
Ew, which wet noodle?
What?
Behead you.
Which wet noodle?
Whatever one I can find.
It looks like the horizontal shaft. It goes that way.
It goes in that way.
So
Looks
now
like there's one that might
you
go down
guys
that
think
way,
a badger dug that hole like this?
Pretty sure.
There's a tunnel in there. I know. It looks like.
And the trail that goes from the bear hole goes right to here. Major trail, you can't miss it with trees. This is what Terry wanted to prove. See this little spot right here? This is where they'd be a Spanish with a sword or a musket, and any slaves that came out of that portal would either get their head cut off or shot if they didn't have ore. Okay? And so here's another sign right here.